What's up, everybody? And today we're checking out FAXX, the next American fighter jet by Found and Explained. Their videos are absolutely brilliant. I've really enjoyed them so far. We've watched a few of them so far. I think like this might be the third or fourth one we've watched. They're brilliant. The information on them is fantastic. The animation's fantastic, and I genuinely really enjoy these videos. We did a video this morning. We watched a video about the F-22 being cancelled in production, which I didn't know until we found out. Well, I found out recently. And so with that, I thought it'd be wise to watch a video on what's next. We got the F-35, right? But we've shit canned the F-22. We've got 184 of them. What's next? This video is a year or two old, so there could be some newer updates on this, but let's just enjoy it. Let's figure out what's going on and let's see what they've got to say. If you want to watch the video without me waffling over the top of it, it's down in the description below. My throat's still a little bit sore. I do apologize. That's probably why I'm a little bit less energetic and quiet. So yeah, other than that, let's shut up. Let's pull this up. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Helps out mysterious YouTube algorithm.
This video is brought to you by Squarespace.
Okay. Love the vibe.
The US has been very dominant in the air with its battle-proven fighters like the F-15, F-16, and F-18.
Yeah.
Along with that,
I haven't done a video on the F-18 yet. Let me know if you want me to do a video on that.
King of the Skies, and for a long time, the only fifth-generation fighter in service, the F-22. There simply wasn't a serious answer to the US fifth generation of fighter jets from any other competitor on the market up until recent years.
Yeah.
Now, after the troublesome development of the F-35 fighter, the US is looking
The troublesome development? What? I didn't know there was trouble with it.
to move above and beyond the competition, and by that I mean completely new generation of fighters.
That's mental.
Meet the next generation of air dominance, the jet fighter of the future.
All right. Get me hyped, Found and Explained. Get me hyped for the future of aviation. Let's go.
Before hopping all the way to the sixth generation, let's have a look back at history and how the US classified the first four generations of fighter jets.
I like this.
The first generation was jet propulsion. It was the breakthrough technology that essentially defined what would become known as a fighter jet in the first place. The second generation was defined by swept wings, range-finding radar, and infrared-guided missiles.
God, that style is just so retro and like steampunk-esque in it. Like if you put some sort of steam engine on that and put it in like a BioShock game, it would fit perfect, wouldn't it? Do you know what I mean? So steampunk. It's the steel. That's what it is. It's the steel design of it. Or like the shiny metal design, rather than like the grey matte that you get on the most modern kind of stealth ones. I love the design. I think it's so, and the flat end as well. I think that's it. It's the flat end of them.
For the third generation, it was all about
I just want to preface, obviously you couldn't put a steam engine in it and make it fly. I'm just saying out of video game fantasy concept. Do you know what I mean? Like the BioShock style.
Supersonic flight, pulse radar, and missiles that could engage opponents beyond visual range. The fourth generation is famous for the introduction of multi-role jets, implementing fly-by-wire controls, and the focus of BVR air-to-air combat. And
I feel like we should do a video on all the different, like the most popular jets in each category. I think that would be really cool, wouldn't it? If there's a video, if someone's got a recommendation for that, let me know.
Agility. Further post-Cold War development created the so-called 4+, or as some like to call it, the 4++ generation, which is focused on reduced radar signature, true multi-role capabilities, along with advanced avionics, and weapon systems like on board the Rafale, the Eurofighter, or the Russian Su-35S.
I also haven't done a video on the Eurofighter.
Speaking of the Russians, they're also working on a new version of the MiG, the MiG-41. But this information wasn't easy to find out because they don't have a website for this top secret project. Something that you can avoid. Looking for a website for a business, project, or even an aviation-themed YouTube channel just like the one you're watching?
segue. That was
the
a good
US became
segue
the
right
first
there,
country
wasn't it?
to introduce an operational 5th generation fighter, where it did so with the Lockheed Martin F-22 Raptor in 2005.
It's a good bit of kit.
There was one thing that set the 5th generation of fighter jet apart from the 4th generation: stealth.
Yeah.
That's why stealth capabilities are central to the design philosophy of the...
So what would be the 6th generation? What would be the added thing onto 6th generation? I guess we're going to find out, aren't we?
F-22 Raptor. These aircraft prioritize stealth from day one, that is, from the conceptual design phase, rather than seeking ways to reduce radar signature after they had designed the whole plane in the shop.
Oh my god, that
The
shot's
result was
unreal,
a
isn't it?
multi-role fighter that would be able to do hit-and-run missions behind enemy lines, and with either no or minimal losses.
Must be terrifying if you went up against an F-22, or if you're just on the ground and you see it go past just starting to obliterate things. It must be almost supernatural. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's so bizarre, so quick, so alien looking, that if one of them, like if you've never seen one before and then one of them starts just demolishing things around you, do you know what I mean? You'd be like, what the fuck is this? Wouldn't you? It'd be mental.
Completing its mission goals, striking critical enemy targets in either air or on the ground. These fighter jets also included active electronic scanning array radars and engines that are powerful enough to cruise above the speed of sound without the need of afterburners. The downside of 5th generation aircraft, however, is although they're able to carry weapons and fuel externally should their need arise, that doing that will instantly make them less stealthy.
Yeah.
And without full-on stealth capabilities, the aircraft could literally be considered more sleek-looking versions of 4th generation jets. And that's a major letdown.
So where does 6th generation come in then? Firstly, we're going to get some concept art here, aren't we, of what 6th generation looks like. And I guarantee it looks cool as fuck.
As already stated, a 6th generation or class of fighter jets beyond the 5th was inevitable. There is an understanding that aerial combat of the future will have less of an emphasis on one-to-one dogfights or even brute aerial superiority. Rather, the focus and role of the new jet would be a part of an integrated system of manned and unmanned aircraft, ground troops, satellites, or AWACS planes.
Basically comms with everything. They want comms with everything to be able to communicate. They want that easiness that you have when you have all Apple products and everything just works together. That's what they want, but with military gear.
Depending on the nature of the task at hand. The idea behind the integration of manned and unmanned aircraft is that there would be only one pilot operating 2 or more aircraft at a time. UAVs would not be controlled from the ground, and the AI would be able to perform basic tasks.
Imagine that, where it didn't even have like a cockpit and it was just like that. That'd be crazy.
Commanded by the pilot, allowing the pilot to focus on the priority objectives, with the drones either providing recon, support, or drawing enemy fire away.
That'd be so cool if it was like that, but when you sat in it, it was all digital screens and you could literally look 360 around you and it looks like you're looking outside. Wouldn't that be just mental? So it looks like you're just floating, but you're actually sat inside it with no windows. That'd be crazy. Kind of like how the Apple Vision works, where you're technically looking at a screen, but you can see everything outside because it's got cameras and it can see. Mate, that'd be sick.
These roles would allow our hero pilot to slip in unnoticed, or at least face more and softer threats whilst performing their missions. One of these drones could be the XQ-58 Valkyrie, or the Loyal Wingman, that we've previously covered on the channel, and that...
Whoa, look at that. That's bizarre. I want to know more about that.
You can watch right here.
I want to know more about that.
Integral to this digital sophistication will be the use of virtual cockpits. With these, pilots will view their control panels via helmet-mounted displays, or HMDs, which will afford the pilot 360-degree vision.
Didn't I say that?
AI.
I'm psychic.
Enhanced battlefield awareness. Technology already being implemented in the F-35 F-35.
That'd be crazy, wouldn't it?
They might also implement some of the technology currently in development, like airborne high-energy beam weapons, or simply called lasers. And no, this is not a joke or some sci-fi babble that I'm using to try and get views, because the airborne laser platforms have been developed ever since the Cold War, with the best examples
Look
being
at that
the
nose.
Soviet...
They should have painted the nose of that plane red, shouldn't they? That's what they should have done.
Bereave A-60 and the US Boeing YAL-1. More on them on a future video,
Weird.
so click that subscribe button. Implementation of these weapons could be either for the protection of the aircraft or for tactical...
Oh my god, make it without a cockpit. That'd be so cool. Just have like screens on the inside. And make it like... Whoa, what happened to my audio? Oh, I can't hear it. Weird.
Purposes such as blinding enemy sensors,
Weird.
satellites, and more.
It's almost as
Apart
if
from all of those, the multi-role 6th Gen fighter
my
will
audio
still
just went
have
down.
to
That was
tick
really
all the
weird.
boxes defined by the previous generation.
That was weird.
Like stealth capability, supersonic speed without afterburners, and the ability to strike.
Hopefully you guys can hear me well enough still. The audio just went really strange on me. That was very bizarre. We'll see how the audio ends after this.
Multiple targets at a time. So what will actually be the 6th generation jet? The US Navy launched a 6th generation FA-XX.
Just want to make sure the audio is good. It sounds like shit to me right now. Hopefully it sounds okay with you guys. I don't know why I did that. Gonna turn my headset off and on. Maybe that'll help. Whoa, now it's super loud. Oh my god. Oh my god, just blew my ear out.
Program
it's better now,
in
though.
2008,
Yeah, that was
with
really
the
weird.
Air Force following up with its own next generational tactical aircraft in 2010.
Okay.
It was the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, or DARPA, that was designated to lead the development of these next generation aircraft. They decided in 2013 that both of these concepts need to be brought together, even if this approach was actually criticized by some of the analysts.
That was the F-35 there. Is the F-35... I'm pretty sure the F-35 is the only one that can land vertically. Pretty sure the F-35 is the only one that can do that. And it's sick. It's so cool.
By 2015, the Air Force and Navy requirements were formally integrated, and a joint focus on AI systems and a common airframe. The plan by the Air Force was the development and acquisition of a 6th generation fighter jet through its Penetrative Counteract, or PCA program, that replaced existing fighters such as the Boeing F-15 platforms and the Lockheed Martin F-22 Raptor. The initial goal was this jet to take to the sky by the 2030s, although we now consider that a rather optimistic deadline.
I wonder what the updates are there, considering that this video is a couple years... I think it's 2 years old. January 2022, so it's 2 years old. I'm wondering what the updates are there. If anyone's got any updates, let me know in the comments.
The plan is that the NGAD aircraft will join just 3 other fighter jets to comprise the US Air Force and United States Navy Air Fleet.
Interesting.
Specifically the Lockheed Martin F-35, the Boeing FA-18 Super Hornet, and the Boeing F-15E, as well as, I should mention, its further development variant, the F-15EX. This will actually...
I don't think we did too many... When we did the F-15 video, I don't think we learned too much about variants of it, and I'd love to have known more about the variants, like gone into the more advanced variants. I think that would be cool. I think the only F-15 video we did was the Fat Electricians video, so it'd be nice to do some variants on that and learn a bit more about it technically.
See the demise of the F-22 Raptor, the most capable fighter of the Air Force, although a problematic and expensive one.
Yeah.
As of the end of 2021, Boeing Lockheed Martin...
If you want to watch the video on why the F-22 is not going to be continued, this morning I did a video on it. It was really good.
Martin and Northrop have all announced 6th generation aircraft development projects of their own, so the race is on to get this into the sky. Military analysts were taken by surprise when Dr. Will Roper, the acquisition executive for the US Air Force, announced in September 2020 that the Air Force had already flown a full-scale flight demonstrator as part of its program.
Wait, so it's already flown some sort of demonstration of a 6th generation fighter, and this was 2 years ago?
Experts were genuinely surprised given that funding for the project had only been granted by Congress in 2018, which meant that the program was advancing at an unusually fast pace for a fighter jet concept.
I'm telling you right now, it's because they've got UFOs in the cupboards. I know that these companies, Lockheed Martin, Boeing, all these companies have got UFOs. I know they do. We all know it. We found out recently through David Grush. We all know it. They've got UFOs. They are de-engineering them and learning all about them and implementing it into the next 6th generation fighters. Guarantee it. I'm saying it here first, guys.
But this makes sense when you examine the project in a little bit more detail. An important feature of the program is the way in which it's project managed. Unlike other previous fighter jet projects, many of which went wildly over budget and took many additional years to complete, this time it was decided that there would be a split between design, production, and sustainment. This meant that whatever company designs the aircraft will not be awarded the production contract, whilst the production company, in turn, will not get the contract to maintain the aircraft once it's in active service.
That's
interesting. The focus
interesting.
is instead on high-tech manufacturing centers capable of producing anything produced in digital format rather than having a dedicated and very expensive aircraft factory. It's also supposed to minimize the chances of one company screwing up the entire project. It's also worth noting that
That makes sense. That makes real sense, and it kind of compartmentalizes it, but in a positive way. You know?
Will Roper was rather cagey about the project when he made this announcement back in September 2020. For example, Roper declined to comment on how many of these prototype aircraft had been flown or which defense contractors had even been involved in the project.
He knows. He knows they've got UFOs. Guarantee it. He knows. Guarantee it.
He also refused to say when the first flight occurred, and perhaps in the most galling aspect of this announcement, he refused to divulge even a single aspect of the aircraft's design, not to mention the aircraft's principal mission or whether it would be manned or optionally manned.
Yeah, I have a feeling it'll be unmanned. I really do have a feeling it'll be unmanned. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. I feel like it will be.
Confirm whether or not the prototype could fly at hypersonic speeds or if it had better stealth capabilities. According to Roper, all of these characteristics were frankly, in his opinion, beside the point. The bottom line is we still actually don't know much about this project and what is concrete or verifiable. What we do know is that several other countries have 6th generational aircraft programs on the go or in the pipeline.
Yeah, the UK, France, maybe Israel did. You know, we're going to have the usual suspects making 6th generation fighters. That's not a surprise, is it really?
With the most prominent ones being the Japanese Mitsubishi FX, the British BAE Tempest, and jointly developed European Future Combat Air System.
Yeah.
There are also other aircraft in development which may or may not be true 6th gen aircraft, creating maybe another plus generation, finding itself between 5 and 6. So the United States may yet find itself with some stiff competition from allies and foes alike with its 6th generation fighter jet design.
Competition with allies is really good. It's really, really good. That's the thing we want. Competition with our enemy, we don't want.
But I like to think that it may yet be the most furious generation of fighter jets ever seen. And speaking of seeing things early, if you want to see these videos early on Found and Explained, then I suggest you become either a channel member or a Patreon supporter.
All right, check out their channel. It's really, really good, Found and Explained. They do some really, really good videos. My thought is that it's strange that the F-22... Well, it's not strange. After watching the video this morning, watching the F-22 kind of get shit is kind of sad because it's a really good jet. My hair's a mess. Look at that. What's going on here? Is a shame, really. The F-35 obviously is the front runner right now of everything that the US and Europe is doing, any allies that are using. But 6th generation fighters are around the corner. Guarantee it. Within the next 5 years, 10 years, the US and Europe are probably going to have them. It's not probably the same for Russia and China, though. I think it's going to be a long time before we see them have it. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Check out Found and Explained in my comments, in my description. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Helps with that mysterious YouTube algorithm. And until next time, I love you all. Have a wonderful day. I just knocked the table. Goodbye.